Welcome to Onewheel Underground Circuit, the Uno.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Onewheel Underground Circuit, the Uno. I'm Ben, and today I have Teddy with me. How's it going, Teddy?
I'm doing good, Ben. How are you doing, man?
Doing good. Having a good time?
Yeah.
So you're the ambassador in Monterey, and you actually kind of helped come up with the idea of the underground circuit. So yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, ended up talking about that with Paul, like seeing all the races going on, especially on the weekends, and said, "Oh, you should be able to get some like kind of local race and stuff." And then ended up connecting to Ryan, so Ryder, and the idea blew up, and it became what it is going on right now. And like I think everybody's getting pretty excited about that. And Paul helped us to select the Pro Ride. Paul helped us check the trail here in Monterey. And yeah, man, we have been having a lot of fun it so far.
Yeah, it has been a lot of fun. Okay, so have you done any racing recently, or like where was the last track that you hit?
I did a trip this past week to Sacramento and TAHOE.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Thanks to Manuel Soto in Sacramento, he had me there and like showed me the Granite Bay, all those tracks right there. Met with Neil and one more rider there. We had a lot of fun. Manuel, super good rider, and yeah, helping me a lot in there. And up in Tahoe, I connect with Jamie Marquezano.
Yeah.
He's a badass rider. Like, you can see how the leaderboard in Tahoe is, like, and that's the quality, all the quality that they have up there.
Yeah.
Jamie really shreds it. Like, it's a really hard sidewind. It's a really hard trail. It's like also became one of my favorites, as you said the other time. It is fun. All those back-to-backs and all those tight turns.
Yeah.
And the views are amazing.
Sidewinder
Really
is one of the best. Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool that you made it up there. Okay, what'd you think of the Sacramento Trail?
Sacramento is hard too.
Yeah.
It's really hard. All those the uphills that to get to the road. It's a mixed terrain. It's like now it's really packed, and some parts are like you can see the digs. People are hitting it a lot there. You can see the digs. You can see the tracks. And there's this log that's hard.
The nudge,
yeah, man. The final really tight turns, and it really like a shock down, like you need to really squat on the board to get through the trees and keep going to the final lane. All those two are definitely like very hard, and you can see the leaderboards like only is a really hard one to get into the 10, top 10.
Yeah.
Sidewinder and the footlight.
Both of them, yeah. Heated competition. So yeah, in this past weekend, I made it to Fresno to ride Blue Oak. Pretty stoked. It was fun. I was there right at sunset, and then it actually started to get a little bit dark. But I met up with Ryan, and he had a flashlight, luckily. But that's a pretty fun trail. I liked it. Right along the lake. There is kind of the steep drop that people have mentioned. Don't lose your board there. Luckily, right in that spot, the trail is pretty smooth, and there's not really any rocks or bumps, so you'd have to really mess up badly to. I guess if you came into it with too much speed, maybe could be a risk. But yeah, it was fun, and now I've ridden all 10 tracks, and I think I'm the first person to do it. So I'm gonna have that bragging right because I won't be in the top 10. So I'm gonna claim first person to ride all the tracks.
You did it. It was amazing, huh?
It was awesome. It was so cool to see all these new trails, places I would have never gone to or known about. So yeah, huge thanks to everybody who made the segments and picked out the tracks. you mentioned the Onewheel Underground Circuit has been blowing up, and so now we actually have some sponsors. So we're going to quickly talk about the sponsors we have. We have a few sponsorship opportunities. If anybody's interested, get a hold of us. But what we've been doing is we've have sponsors that are sponsoring individual tracks. So the first one we'll talk about is up in Lake Tahoe, Four Season Shred. They're sponsoring that track. Tahoe Dave.
Exactly.
Thanks to you guys. Then if we go down to Santa Cruz, we have Santa Cruz Wheel Slip sponsoring Sean sponsoring ganja smuggling.
Nice.
Shout out to you guys. Like we had on the last episode, Paul and Pro Ride are sponsoring the Monterey track. Shout out to Pro Ride. Yeah, the last one right now that we'll talk about is Float Life, and they are sponsoring the Sacramento track. And we have some interesting things in the works with them that we'll discuss at a later date. But yeah, good stuff. So thanks to all our sponsors. We could mention what are the sponsors doing? Well, we do need some money for some costs associated with the finals that we're gonna do, which will be an in-person race. Haven't announced details about that yet, but it's pretty exciting. There's costs associated with that. There's some costs associated with making the trophies, and we want to have prize money for the winners actually. So
we have some really nice jerseys coming out, Joe.
Jerseys coming. Okay, so now let's get into the standings. First one we're going to talk about is Sidewinder.
Yeah, if you see the number 10 on Sidewinder, it's floaty. So
yeah.
Like, if it is something else, to get to that.
Yeah, that's an odd one because in these other leaderboards, Floaty's at the top.
Exactly. No, he is the champion of the Shred Fest. He was the champion of the Race for the Rail, right? Like badass rider. There's no questions about anything. But like the amount of people that has been riding there, the quality is so high that is like, yeah, Floaty is leading more than one of the other ones down south. And he's on 10th on that one. So to get on that leaderboard, I think it would be is like you need to really go for it and hardest point.
Yeah, for sure. The pros are on there. So yeah, I don't know how much it's changed since the last week, but we'll just run down. Dave is in first, Austin's in second, Jamie's in third, Jeff's in fourth, Neil's in fifth, Ori's in sixth, Lars is in seventh. Tied with Robert for 7th, Jesse in 9th, and Floaty in 10th. Let's move on to the next. We'll do Sacramento right now. Neil's in first, Austin second, Floaty's in third on this one. Wade is in fourth. Wade's been kind of moving his way up. Hopefully we'll get him on some other tracks. Jeff in fifth, his home turf. Lars in sixth.
More.
Yeah. Tied with Jesse for 6th. Bodie is in 8th. I think he might have moved up recently. Conscious Rhythms in 9th and Jafari in 10th. So some Hawaiians at the bottom there. Yeah, this is another leaderboard that's pretty competitive. Float Life guys can ride it real often because it's pretty close to the shop.
Right there, yeah. Right in that backyard.
Yep, so they can do training runs on it. But,
beautiful.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it's cool. It's right along the river. Great spot. Challenging. But, yeah, Teddy, anything else you want to say before you take off?
Just want to say thank you to everyone, that is enjoying that. And, thank you guys for having me here today.
Yeah, and shout out to Teddy for running the Onewheel Underground Race Instagram. The Underground Race. And, yeah, if you do anything on Instagram, Teddy's the one reposting that. So thanks for doing that.
Yeah, we are there. So thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you all the sponsors that start to join us. And, yeah, it's been beautiful. And it's been really nice to see all this talk that everybody's getting in traveling.
Yeah. I think we have over 200 people riding. There's over 200 people on the leaderboards now, which is pretty crazy.
That's crazy.
All right, Teddy.
Cheers, my
Cheers.
friend. Have a good one.
See you on the trails. All right, I'm here now with Brenda. Welcome, Brenda, to the show.
Cheers.
Brenda is a racer. She's hit a lot of the tracks. So yeah, you live down in San Diego, but you went to Shredfest and you rode a bunch of the tracks. Okay, how about you tell us what your favorite track so far is?
So far, ganja smuggling.
Really? Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
And we ran into each other on the trail in Santa Cruz.
Literally ran into each other.
Almost right into each other. And at that point, we actually made the connection that we both grew up in the Santa Cruz Mountains and like went to the same high school and stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's a small world for sure.
Yeah. So you're involved with a lot of different one-wheel things, right? So one of them is Wheel Fem stuff. Tell us a little bit about Wheel Fem stuff.
That's the OG one for sure. So it kind of started. Me and Allie met each other. Like, I had a pint for a week when I met Allie through the group, and we both realized we like to send it. We like to ride trails. We like to try new things, and we're gonna start Wheel Fem stuff to kind of expand our own horizons, like learn more, learn from each other, and start this thing here in San Diego. And since then, it's turned into this big, like, well, it's like one wheel women empowerment. And what we just started doing that we're really excited about is Wheel Fem Fridays. So if you're a girl who rides, it doesn't matter if you're sending trails or like doing crazy tricks or like just using your one wheel to go get coffee on your like lunch break or something like that. Like, we want you to send videos and we compile everyone and feature like you on Friday. And we're excited about that and about our own content to come.
Yeah, that's awesome. Definitely a cool community-driven thing you're doing. Have people been sending videos? Are they into it?
Yeah, it's more than we even thought, because we're like, wow, maybe once a week is like kind of a lot, but it's not just like in the DMs. Like, I checked our email that we kind of neglected for a year probably, and like we're finally getting like people sending us their Google Drives and just like messages and all kinds of stuff, and we were posting like one wheel float cleans on Facebook too, and we're starting to get messages from that, and it's just cool to see like there's more interest every week that we do it, and we're wondering if that would be the case, and it definitely is. So that's something to be stoked for in the future.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you heard it here, Wheel Fem stuff. Send the videos to them if you have them. And then another thing you're involved with is Slippery Bandit, right? So
yeah.
Tell us about Slippery Bandit.
Brand new one wheel aftermarket products. But basically the idea behind that, it like started almost as a joke because my boyfriend started making like a ton of like curb wax for sliding and waxing curbs downtown, and our other friend Travis, who's a team rider too, was like, oh, must be some Slippery Bandit waxing all the curbs downtown because they're all slippery. And we're like, wait, that's good. And it started with like the ice pop wax, and it's turned into bumper boys that you've probably seen on a lot of boards on like the edges to help with the impact, and the screw kit, and just like more affordable one wheel aftermarket products. So I'm stoked to be part of that.
That's awesome. I think I might need to get some of the bumper boys. Check out the bumper boys for protecting your rails for sure.
Use code Brenda for a discount.
Oh, nice. Discount code. All right.
SlipperyBandit.com.
Okay, so let's talk about the rankings, and we're going to talk about the Santa Cruz track. Of course, we'll mention again that this is sponsored by Santa Cruz Wheel Slip. Shout out to Sean. And we get in first place, we have Jesse. Second place, Floaty. Third, Jeff. Fourth, Devin. Fifth, Cade. Sixth, Max. Seventh, Jafari. Eighth, Luca. Ninth, Laser. 10th, Raquel. I don't think these standings have really changed that much since last week. Future Motion guys are still in there on stock boards as far as we know. Yeah, so like, what did you like about the Santa Cruz track when you rode it?
I liked that it had a nice combination of flowy and technical, and it was challenging. Like, I didn't expect it to be that challenging. And I got lost a lot.
Yeah.
Like, my time on there is with like 38% battery. It's the only one I finished, like from start to finish. Didn't get lost during that one. Actually, no, I did get lost during that one too. And I was just like, wow, this is my backyard. This is where I grew up, and I can't find my way around these trails. This is like shameful. So obviously I need to go back. But I really like that it made me think a bit.
Yeah,
Not
it's
just about direction.
yeah, yeah. Navigational wise, it's probably the most challenging. I don't think I had a solid run. I know on my best one, I went the wrong way once. And then when we met there, I don't even think I got a good one because those hikers were in the way. So yeah,
What
get
that
it.
morning?
I think in the mornings it might be more crowded. I think maybe like towards sunset might be a bit better, but I think there's a lot of morning hikers that go there with their dogs. So yes, getting a good run can be kind of challenging there.
Yeah, that's like a bring two boards type of trail or CBXR, but
Right, right. Okay, cool. So yeah, that was Santa Cruz, and then we're also going to talk about Monterey, which you also rode. So before we get into standings, like what were your impressions of Monterey?
that trail's really fun. Like I never was super comfortable going fast on deep sand. Like I've fallen enough, like taking tight turns on it to be like, oh my god, not one of these. But for that one, like I think the poison oak made me so nervous that I was like, stay on your board, and it just gave me like extra confidence to like go fast. And I was like, that one is fun. I get why the Shack Attack, like just longest barrel I've ever been in my life.
Yeah, seriously. I think that's probably my second favorite after Sidewinder because it's super fast. There's almost no rocks on it, really. Yeah, super flowy. I was more worried about, getting clotheslined by a branch or something. So, well, we're both kind of tall. I think, like if you're taller, it's a little sketchier. The shorter people maybe have it a bit easier.
At the end, my legs are burning, and I was like, I have to get up that hill now, and I'm tired, and like that's the hardest part of it for me. But once you're in there, like just flowing through the trees, and you get in that state in your mind, it's really easy to like lose yourself on that one. So that was probably a close second, honestly. Those two trails are great.
Yeah, they're both super fun. Okay, let's check out the standings for Shack Attack. Again, Shack Attack sponsored by Pro Ride. So in first we have Jesse, second Neil, third Jeff, fourth Teddy, fifth Adanja, sixth Floaty, seventh Conscious Rhythms, eighth Jafari, ninth Jamie, tied for ninth with Will. I think this is another one that stayed the same from last week, so people need to go ride both Santa Cruz and Monterey. They're both super fun, kind of centrally located in California, so hopefully you can get to it. And yeah, go down to San Diego and ride Bowtie also.
Yeah.
And, okay, do you?
And then hit us up because that's for sure not our best trail. We could have done better.
Well, there's always next season. I think next season we're gonna have to find new trails. So, all right, Brenda. Cheers. Thanks for being on. All right, here we are with Fresno. By myself, because Soul Rider is on a family vacation. But I think he's going to try to break away and ride some trails anyway. Okay, so yeah, going to talk about Fresno. I got to ride it last weekend. It's fun. It's scenic. We're going to do this one quick. Fresno standings. First, Jeff. Second, Raquel. Third, Soul Rider. Fourth, Daniel. Fifth, Teddy. Sixth, Chris. 7, Brian. 8, Neil. 9, Matthew. 10, Patrick. Yeah, fun trail. Get out to Fresno if you can. And I'm here with my LA homie, Floaty McFly. How you doing, dude?
Yo!
Woo! Brandon Schermeyer, the champ. Doing pretty good on the Onewheel Underground Circuit leaderboards.
Oh, just making my way around.
Cheers, man. Welcome to the show.
Thanks a lot, dude. Thanks for having me here, man.
Okay, right off the bat, let's just, what is your favorite underground track?
Well, kind of a loaded question. I mean, the Whoops is probably my favorite just because I have so much history with it. We've been together for so long. I just love the Whoops at this point. But I've come to grow fond of some of the other trails as well after just a single night.
The one night stands.
Yeah, just the one ride stand. The slow one seemed to be my most enjoyed one. Like when I got to the bottom, I was probably the most pumped. It was probably partially because it ends right at the car, So
Yeah.
like, right when you finish, you're like, sick, I don't have to go anywhere. I'm like, because that one's a little bit like, it's what, 5-6 minutes or something, or I guess it can be up to 10 minutes too, but
Yeah, it's a long one.
yeah. So yeah, by the time you get to the bottom of that one, your legs are a little bit worked. So it's like, wait, I can enjoy a view now. It's
Yeah.
everybody thinks there's a view at that one, but when I went, it was so foggy I couldn't see a thing. Like,
Yeah.
Jesse went, like, he went around a corner and like almost fell off because there was so much fog. Like it was really foggy.
Ooh, there's some drops on that one too. There's some cliffs you don't want to go over.
Yeah, the first couple, like, yeah, that's what I would really say to someone who hasn't done it yet. Like, there's like one or two right in the beginning that are like a little sketch. And after you, like, you'll know once you pass that. After that, it's like it chills out.
Yeah, nice. And you've ridden out pretty much all the tracks, right, except for Fresno? Is that right?
Yeah, I would have rode Fresno, but it was just like so far out of the way when I was coming down and going up. It's like
Yeah.
all the other tracks are like next to the ocean, a little bit closer, but Fresno's pretty far inland, so I haven't quite made it yet.
Well, and you gotta, as I
But
mentioned,
let's just talk about you for a second. You're the first guy to run all the tracks.
yeah, and I beat you by not too much, right?
Yeah, just by Fresno. Fresno's the only one I haven't done.
Yeah, the pain in the ass with that one is you got to plan to not ride it in the middle of the day because it gets hot as hell out there. You got to either go morning or evening, but it's like 110 degrees midday or something. So
Dang. So that's one of those ones that you probably should have hit like 2 months ago when this thing started,
yeah,
huh?
yeah. All right,
Yeah.
should we get into some standings here?
Yeah, let's get it.
All right, so yeah, we're gonna start with slow.
Word.
Floaty, you got first on that one. Jesse's in second. Zach's in third. Daniel, the local guy's in fourth. Paul's fifth. Our buddy Jamie's in sixth. Patrick right behind him in seventh. Edge, Blanco, aka Marco, in eighth. Our buddy Nikki in ninth. And then Luca in 10th. So that's Hazard's Peak right there. I don't think it really changed except for you and Jesse taking the top two.
Yeah. But if you look around, like, this one might have the biggest like variance in times, There's the range, from top to bottom is a few minutes. I feel like there's a lot of room for people to squeeze themselves into this one.
Yeah, I want to go back to this one because I actually crashed on my run. so I know I could like do a little bit better if I did it again.
I looked out. I went down twice and just had both clean runs. And just the first time I did it, I took first place. And the second time I did it, I increased on the time. And I was just like stoked, like it was good. Like I didn't feel like I had to keep going and keep increasing it.
Yeah.
So we
getting up to that one is kind of treacherous. Like you gotta hike a bit. You couldn't ride all the way up, right? I had to hike some of those hills.
Berms.
Yeah.
There was like a couple berms that like were too steep, especially for my W's. But I didn't walk too far. I managed to make it like only walking like just up a couple corners.
Yeah.
But it's honestly probably like not recommended to like do it on a stock board if you have the ability, because by the time that you get to the top of the hill, like you might be close to 60% like on a stock battery. So like I feel like the CB or the JW will come in handy, or the board bank, or really any portable charger. Like
yeah, that one's hard. That's hard to get to the starting point. Possibly the hardest starting point to get to, I would say.
Yeah. Right, like trying to do that without like a GPS, like.
Luckily, I mean, I had Daniel. Daniel was there to show me the way. I don't know. I might have got lost if I tried to do it on my own.
Yeah, no, you can't go the wrong way if you're with Invincible Dan.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. This is Las Vegas.
Yeah, I guess that's farther south.
That was out of order, I think. Okay, we're gonna go through Las Vegas real fast.
Yeah, well, yeah. So Vegas.
There it is. I'm not even gonna call him out. I don't think this one changed, except for our buddy Joe Float Ninja at the bottom.
Yeah, he got his way in.
He made himself on the leaderboard. He's in 10th. He tied Soul Rider.
Yes.
That's the only change there.
An
So
extra space on there, right?
yeah, good for Joe.
Yep, he deserves it. Let's see if somebody can knock him or not. Because if somebody knocks him, they're knocking 2 people. And they're knocking 2 people that won't be very stoked.
2 for 1.
So let's see. All right, who's gonna get up there to Vegas?
Yeah, hopefully one of the Vegas guys would do that.
Yeah, right.
We need more Vegas. Doc and Joe came out. They've come out to California and rode the track, so we need more Vegas guys coming out here.
Right.
Okay, now it's time to talk about the WOWUCs. Our home turf, Los Angeles, California.
Los Angeles.
You're the one who set the segment up, right? So we've been riding the WOWUCs before the underground racing started for quite a while. Awesome track.
Yeah. Right. This is like mine and probably a lot of other people's like training ground. Like I used to come here like by myself in secret and just like ride this thing over and over and over. You know what I mean? Like when I saw that the underground thing was happening, I was like, we gotta make it the WOWUCs. You know, like there's no question.
Yeah.
So I was like,
okay, I gotta ask you, what's your strategy for dealing with the WOWUCs? You know, the up and down tabletop rollers that are in there.
yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, right. So for anybody who doesn't know what he's talking about, like the WOWUCs is basically like full of big, like, you know, just vertical berms, really big whoop-de-doos, you know. So you have to be able to, with a lot of speed, go over these things and maintain your speed. And like a lot of things can happen here, right? Like you end up like sometimes you can go so fast that you end up just launching right off the berms.
Yep.
And that can kind of be a bad strategy, like, because the way I think about it is like the motor doesn't push against the air, right? So if you're in the air, like you're not speeding up, right? So like you need to keep your board on the ground at all times, you know, if you want to go fast. Like we're not going for Instagram. We're not trying to fucking take a video right now. Like you don't need to be in the air. You stay on the ground. So basically my way of doing that is like I use my legs to like absorb the whole whoop in a sense. But I'm lucky because I'm kind of tall. You know, I could understand how it might be a little bit harder for like a smaller bodied person to like physically absorb a huge berm. You know what I mean? So like really the way to get around that is essentially to jump. Like it sounds weird, but you honestly like you basically like you like jump off of your board at just the right time so that you don't actually leave your board, right? But you take all the weight off of it so that it can just easily climb the hill, right? And then right as the board gets to the top of the peak, like maybe even just before the climax, like if you're really trying to push it, then you slam the nose so that by the time that it gets to the point where the tail is over the climax, you've already got a downward slope. So it's kind of like, you know, you have to get really low before each whoop so that you can jump up over it. And then once you're in the air, you got to slam back down forward facing.
Yeah. The timing is crazy. Yeah. It's a crazy timing exercise. Because
really is.
For me, the risk is going up, it's fine, but then, you know, coming down, I'll drag tail, you know, because if you didn't slam it the right way and get the right acceleration down, and then that can put you out of control.
Very, very easy. Yeah, you gotta stay right on top of the wheel. Like, yeah, if you get a little bit behind it or something, like you'll do the thing that you think is gonna work, but then it ends up scraping you out just because your weight is a little bit off, you know. So, like, yeah, it definitely can get you. Like, it's one of those things where you might feel like your nose is gonna scrape a lot more than it actually does. I feel like so. Yeah. Like, it's kind of, you know. just full send it. Like if you nosedive it, like good job. Like you were full sending it on that trail.
Yeah.
Like most people are probably gonna be like slipping out on a lot of the whoops. So just full send it, you know.
Yeah, that's good advice from the champ. All right, let's check out the standings here, which now this changed over the last week because you went there and you took first back from Drew.
Well, I went there with the intention of showing, Jesse the Flying Hawaiian this trail. He's been hitting a lot of these undergrounds with me.
Yep.
Because he hopped in my car up in NorCal. We rolled down and hit them all. Like we hit Santa Cruz, Monterey. We had done SAC earlier.
Okay, so yeah, let's we'll finish out these standings here. So then yeah, Jesse's in third. Jordan is okay, and then I think this might be new. Michael Watts McKenna is on here now. He's tied with. Okay, that's new. That's pretty new. So
this is a guy. I guess we talk. This is.
Do you know him? Have you ever met him? I don't know him at all.
When I went down to San Diego, which we'll get down there in a second, but we saw his name on there, and like, even like, Jesse was like, "Oh man, I haven't beat this guy yet." Like, who is this guy? And we get down and we talk to Kyle and AJ, and they're like, "Oh yeah, he's a local. He's a newer rider, and he's real fast." Like, I think they've hung out with him a few times, but
Yeah, I know. Like LT, who's the ambassador down there, knows him, and he was with him. Like he's putting down some solid runs. So pretty cool to see him up on the whoops board, and he's tied for fourth with Jordan.
Yeah, no, that fourth place time is like where my fastest time like was before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that's like so I'm at an improvement from like was like what used to be the fastest time of the whoops. You know what I mean? So it's
so right here we have proof that the racing is pushing people to improve their times and do better.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Then in sixth we got Victor, seventh Tim, eighth Kyle, tied for ninth we got Soup and Jamie.
Yeah.
LA boys. So that's the whoops. Got some action. I know it's going to get more action this coming weekend because people are coming to LA for the Meals on One Wheels ride. I'm pretty sure Jeff and Raquel will be here, going to ride it. Last week, Patrick said he's probably going to be here and riding it, so we might see even more action on the whoops.
Fuck yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the next one. Orange County. Okay, so you went and hit Orange County. Give us like your take on it. What'd you think?
It's got a gnarly start that I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like this is one of those trails that like you're only gonna get a fast time if you can like make it through tech, because there's a lot of spots that are really bumpy, and like I feel like a lot of people are gonna get knocked off their board if they're not paying enough attention on this one.
All right, here in Orange County, we got Floaty in first, Drew in second, Travis in third, Michael Watts McKenna in fourth. So in fifth, we got Jesse, sixth, Victor, seventh, Neil, eighth, Knock, ninth, Zach Zinn, 10th, Float Ninja. Our boy Joe's on there.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's Orange County. That's a fun trail. Get out there and ride it. Okay, let's move on to the next one. First off, what was your take with San Diego?
San Diego, honestly, like my times were better than I thought they were, because there's a lot of spots in that trail where you end up going slow. So
Yeah,
like,
dude, it's so chunky.
yeah, if you catch yourself going a little bit slow, especially if you're near a gate, don't fret. Like, it happens to everyone. Okay, so just keep sending. It's a little chunk. It was interesting that you were right next to a fence, and I was like, I don't know, I like pushed off the fence for a second. I was like, oh, I don't want to nosedive, and I like use a
Yeah,
fence.
and there's
like,
there's this one little rocky turn, slight uphill, but because the rocks are there and you've lost your speed,
Oh.
I figured it out on my own, but also Tim, who's in San Diego, told me like there's a tree there, so I totally just grab the tree and like yank yourself up that little uphill.
That's great.
I think it's
Yeah.
right before you get next to that fence part, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
right before. That was a tricky section. Every time I got to it, I was like, "Oh no, do I have enough speed?" And like, there's kind of like a line in the middle where you can go like just like an extra like 2 feet before you get to the rocks. So I like try to stay in that perfect little one, but then it shoots
Yeah.
you right at some rocks, and it's like, just barely made
that's
it.
one where you want to get at least a few runs, because you'll learn where the rock lines are. That first kind
Right.
of rocky, bumpy drop when you come off the fire road, kind of gnarly. It's the first time where you're like, oh yeah, this is not going to be as fast as the fire road was.
Yeah, for real. The fire road is pretty fast, so we're in like 25, 26 on that. Like,
Yeah.
so you really got to push it at that beginning, but
Okay,
yeah.
let's take a look at the standings.
Short
Okay.
run. Look at that, 2 minutes.
Right, so you had first on this, but then recently Michael Watts McKenna came in, took first back. He's San Diego local.
Yeah. When?
That was like not that long ago, because you rode
Yeah.
it not that long ago, within like the past week or so or something, right?
Yeah.
Let's keep looking at the standings. Okay, you're in second. Jesse's in third. Travis is in fourth. Local LT and Tim, both locals, tied for fifth. Ricky, local, tied with Float Ninja for seventh. We got Max from San Jose. So when I rode Bowtie, Max was there the same day, and he got first that day.
Wow.
So that shows how much this has changed, because he's now been pushed down to ninth.
Wow.
And then Jordan, San Diego local, tied with our boy Jamie for 10th.
Yeah.
So, yep, that's San Diego. Bowtie, get down there if you're able to.
Yep.
All right, this is the moment everybody's been waiting for. We're going to get into the final standings. Women's, Raquel is in first. Brenda is in second. We had Brenda on earlier. Tori is in third.
Yeah.
Jennifer is in fourth. New addition, Mandy McFly is in fifth.
Hey.
Allie in sixth. Pearl in seventh. So that's cool to see Amanda on there. You know
Right.
Amanda from Race for the Rail, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No. I knew Amanda. Yeah, from years before too. From traveling to like North Carolina, Float Life Fest and stuff like that.
She lives out in Boston, I think, or somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
So it's cool she's on these tracks. She came out for Shredfest. I don't know exactly which track she's on, but I'm going to assume they're near Shredfest. And probably Vegas as well. I think she was in Vegas.
Yeah.
So, nice work, ladies. Okay, let's move on to the overall standings. And drum roll for the overall standings. Here we go. There they are. Our boy Floaty right here is in first place with 23 points.
Shit. That's a lot of points.
Behind him, Jesse. Obviously, you guys did the road trip. That paid off. You guys are in the top two. Below you, we have Austin and Neil. They need to make a SoCal trip. I know Austin mentioned it. They're going to come down here at some point.
Everybody who's on this leaderboard is just waiting for when they do that, because it's going to push them farther down the leaderboard.
Jeff, fifth. I know for a fact that Jeff is coming south soon.
Jeff was in first place before, right?
Last week, Jeff was in first, I think. So nice work this week, dude. You did it. You took a bunch of them.
We did it.
Drew and TAHOE Dave are tied for sixth. Michael Watts McKenna's now in eighth, so he definitely moved his way up, because before he was only on like one trail, and now he's on a few.
Popping up here.
We got Jamie in ninth. That's a typo there. 10th is Isaac, who's still only on the Vegas trail. Isaac, if you're watching, come back out to California. 11th,
Right.
Travis. Kyle in 12th. Kyle still, I don't think he knows he's racing. Kyle, start racing him. We got Zach in 13th. He's from Phoenix, so I don't know if he's going to make it back out or not. Soul Rider and Raquel tied for 14th. Jafari, the Hawaiian boy, doing it.
Killing it.
16th. We got Float Ninja in 17th. Jamie from Tahoe in 18th. Daniel from Slow, 19th. Teddy, who's the ambassador for Monterey, in 20th. He was on the show earlier today. All right,
Yep.
so that's the standings as of this week. Dude, nice work, Floaty. You killed it. You and Jesse took that trip, and it paid off.
Yeah, up to Shredfest.
Yep.
It was nice to just take the time.
All right, Floaty. I feel like this is a good time to end it.
Word.
Cheers to you, man. Congrats on the number 1. I mean,
Yeah.
people are coming for you.
They're
And
coming all the time,
yeah,
bro. That's
hold
what
it down.
happens, you know.
All right, this has been the Uno. Until next time. Cheers.
Woo.
Ride trails.